Hey, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera show. I'm so glad you decided to join me today, and I have a very special guest, Carrie Morey from Charleston, South Carolina. And Carrie, thank you. I know, I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you for having
we're
me.
just soul sisters, with all this southern soulful food, and we didn't really know each other well. We followed each other for years.
I have been following you for years.
Have you been stalking me, Carrie?
I have been secretly stalking you before they did the internet social media stalking. I was stalking you. I'm a big fan. So thank you
and
for
I'm
having
such
me.
a fan of yours as well. And if you're not familiar with Carrie and her business, I certainly want to, suggest that you go to her website. But she has a wonderful biscuit business in Charleston, and actually has a great cookbook, Callie's Biscuits and Southern Traditions. And we're going to make some of the recipes out of that book today. So since Halloween is this weekend, we thought it would be great to, you've said you love to do things with
Halloween.
your kids. So we're going to do something that you could serve at a party.
Yes, so I always like to have a meal, and we always have a Halloween party. And I know the children get lots of treats, but this is something so simple and easy to have. Instead of all the candy bars, we've just melted some chocolate. And we're going to make spider cookies. I don't have a double boiler at home because I don't like to have 1,000 gadgets, but you certainly can use a double boiler, or you can just do it this way, which is a homemade double boiler. So boiling water with a bowl on top, and you're just melting the chocolate, and then we're going to add in the pecans, pecans, however you say it.
Alrighty.
And mix that in, and then after that is well mixed, we're going to add, this is my favorite snack.
I could eat this whole bag.
I do. I have a problem with these. So these are the Chinese noodles. So we just add those in
a little bit
at a time, and keep working it in. And this is a great thing to do with your children because they can really help. This part is easy. They can be your little helper. And then actually making the cookies is so fun for them too.
We were talking about the difference in the double boiler technique versus this technique, which is just the bowl on top of boiling water.
That's right.
And then I even use the microwave for the chocolate.
Yeah.
So when I do it, a lot of times I'll just do the microwave.
And you don't have to wait for Halloween. You can use butterscotch and make haystacks. This isn't just for a Halloween spider cookie, so you can use whatever.
And this recipe is in the book.
This is in the book, and this is something that I used to make with my grandmother, and was one of my favorite treats that she always had on hand, because they'll keep in the freezer or the refrigerator for a while.
Well, and Carrie, as a grandmother myself, I've found myself over the years in my business, just like you, referring to family that's influenced you and the things that you've made with your mother and your grandmother. And I'm looking forward to the fact that every little thing I do, I'm thinking, I wonder one day if they're going to be saying that, I'm going to do that too.
Well, they're going to write a cookbook about all of your stuff like I did about my mom and my grandmothers, and then that way they'll be able to pass it down for generations.
Oh, well, I hope so. Okay, well, that's looking perfect.
Yeah, it's ready, and then we're just going to take it off. And this is where your children can get as creative as they want. And you literally take a little spoon, and then
I'm going to turn this off.
And just put the little stacks onto the wax paper or parchment paper.
Okay, well then I always have to give everything a Vera twist.
Love it.
So I have melted some white chocolate, put it in a little Ziploc bag, and now I'm going to cut the end. And as you do that, I'm going to drizzle them.
Oh, they're going to be extra creepy.
See? Extra creepy.
That's cute. And you could do little red hots and make like fiery eyes, which I thought would be cute.
Oh, wow. The other thing on this is that this is going to go in the refrigerator.
Yeah, so this all can be done ahead so that you can enjoy your party. I don't know if I told you this, but my 3 girls, they love to choose what my husband and I dress up. We always have a costume too, and they always get to choose what we dress up as for Halloween. So we never know. It's been quite a few interesting last years, as you can imagine, when your children are in charge of your Halloween costume.
Well, we are going to wrap this up. We're going to keep putting these spider cookies on the tray, and I will get those in the refrigerator. And when we come back from the break, we're going to get started on a delicious chili that is very simple but really delicious. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Okay, if you're just joining us, you know my special guest is Carrie Morey of Charleston, and she has Callie's Biscuits, and I'm just so happy you're here. And you know, while we were away during the break, I got those little spider cookies that just look, I can't wait to eat them. They're in the refrigerator getting nice and cold. And then Carrie got started on this great chili recipe.
Super simple. This is an inspiration from being, you know, on the ball fields as a child, and I love a chili dog, and this is just another way to use this chili, and it's always in my freezer, and it's super easy because you just dump everything into the pot and it's ready to go.
So you got that ground beef and pork nice and browned while we were away, and you know, we are both very fond of the Fresh Market, as Fresh Market sells not only Callie's products, but they also represent the VeryVera show. And on Tuesdays, you can get this ground beef for $2.99.
It's such a good deal.
I mean, just load up and make a bunch of chili.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what are we going to start doing now?
So we're just basically going to dump everything into this ground pork and beef, and just some spices, some garlic powder. Let me just pour that out there, and you can help me just dump it. There's no particular order.
Okay, and then this is
dry mustard.
Dry mustard.
We've got some fresh garlic in there. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
We've got a mixture of spices. This is Tabasco or any kind of hot sauce, just a little bit, or you can add a lot if you tend to like yours more spicy, but my girls kind of complain when I do that. Some onion powder, Worcestershire.
And you know, I say Worcestershire.
Worcestershire, Worcestershire. I know, I kind of go back and forth.
My boys say I can't really pronounce words well, so.
Chili powder.
All right,
and then the last three ingredients, just ketchup and mustard and water. And I mean, I know that this, I call this the rock gut chili, but this is, you know, this is the Little League chili. It reminds you of being on the ball fields for, you know, your children's
God, the aroma.
games.
I mean, that's what it's going to smell like when you get done with this.
I know, and I can just eat it by itself, but I love the Frito pie that we're going to do. It's such a great idea. And, you know, I like to make, we always have a Halloween party, so I love to make dishes where I'm not in the kitchen the whole time. So this can be done ahead, and it just sits on low.
We had a little bit of water.
A little bit of water. It sits on your stove on low, and people can put it on top of their hot dogs. They can eat it by itself, or, you know, they can do the Frito pie like we're going to do.
Well, and then I also thought, you know, I would just at least suggest that you could also do beans with it, and these are just the red kidney beans if you wanted to do that.
Great idea.
But you know, having something simple like this that you could have made that morning and then turn it back on right before everybody gets there. And at the end of the show today, we're going to show you how to display it looking really well, but you can also do this as an individual meal too, that works really well. Well, you know, Carrie, I wanted to also point out that you and I have just been talking over the last few days, and you know, female entrepreneurship has ended up in the kitchen with so many of the friends that I've made throughout the time I've been in this business. So, you know, when did you get this idea to start your business?
Well, you know, my mother is Callie, and she has always been an incredible cook, and I've always had that same passion for cooking and entertaining, being a good Southern woman that I am. And I always wanted to figure out a way to make cooking work, but I also, my number one priority was having a family, and it's hard to be in the F&B industry, the restaurant industry, and have to work those late hours. So it was tricky trying to figure out how to create a business where I could do what I love and still be at home with my children. So I'm particularly proud of that.
Well, you've just done a great job, and we've got her website on the screen, and if you want to know more about this entrepreneur and more about her business, we hope you'll visit her website. So come back with us after the break, because what we've all been waiting for is Callie's Biscuits to be made by Carrie. So come back with us in just a few minutes.
Ask Vera is brought to you by Georgia Bank and Trust and Southern Bank and Trust.
Okay, I've got a question from Jaylon Smart in Savannah, who wants to know, what if I'm going to be out of town for Halloween? How do I keep from disappointing the neighborhood kids? Well, I've got an idea for you. You know, it's really a difficult situation lots of times when Halloween falls on a weekend, because lots of times people have special plans. So if you're going to be out of town and you've got some special friends or neighbors that have little children that you don't want to miss out, let me recommend the traditional Rice Krispie treat made to look like a pumpkin. So you just take the regular mixture, you're gonna make it about the size of a baseball, then unwrap some Tootsie Rolls and use that for the topper. You can decorate it with a cute face and then wrap it up and deliver those a few days before Halloween. Gives them something to enjoy in advance. And then let me also recommend asking that mom or dad to take some pictures and email them to you. You know, we all love to share our children when they're dressed up. Jaylon, I hope that answered your question. And if you have a question for me, be sure to send it to askvera@nbc26.tv. And I want to remind you that the maze at Steed's Farm in Grovetown is happening on Saturdays and Sundays until November 15th. If you want more information, go to steedsdairy.com. Welcome back, and I am so happy to have Carrie with me for the show today. And we did a book signing with your book, and we've had the best time with that. And it was crazy to me how all these guys that went to school with you at Carolina, they were just coming up like, whoa, maybe I should have married her.
Oh, no,
she's
so good
just
to see
as
them.
cute as she can be, and is
Thank
quite the cook and baker. So now the drum roll with the biscuit recipe. So tell us what you've been doing while we were on break.
We started with butter, and we just incorporated it. And everything we do at Callie's is made by hand. So we start with clean hands, no jewelry, no fingernail polish. And we make everything by hand because there really is a difference in a handmade biscuit versus making it in the machine. So there's an art to it, and there's an art to knowing when to go on to the next step. So with the butter, you want all the butter to be incorporated into the flour and kind of look like finely grated Parmesan cheese. And then we add in cream cheese, which is my mother's secret.
It's not now.
Right, it's not now.
No more.
But it is, you know, ensuring that you get the most decadent biscuit, a double fat biscuit. So we add that in, and that is not incorporated as much as the butter. We still like to have those chunks of cream cheese because we hope that when you open it up, you might get a little piece of cream cheese. It's kind of like the king cake. You know, you open it up and there's a surprise. So we're at that step now, and now, you know, everything starts out as a buttermilk biscuit at Callie's, and so the fun thing about biscuits is it's kind of a blank canvas, and then you can add your own touch. So, you know, this process is a little bit long and laborious, but at this point you can add bacon or ham or sausage, or what we're going to do today is add cheese and chive because we think these will go really well with the chili, the Frito pie.
Absolutely.
So we've just grated some sharp cheddar cheese, and we're just going to add that in.
Okay, so that goes in the hole.
Right, yeah, I just made a little well, and you know, my first tip about biscuits, after really the second tip, is to, you know, first use your hands and do it all by hand, but then also use the best ingredients and grate your cheese. Don't use pre-shredded cheese. That's really important. I think the flavor comes through and the cheese melts better. All right, so now we're going to add chives, and if you didn't have chives, you don't have to use chives. You could use green onions, but it's really kind of whatever you like. But this is the best-selling biscuit at Callie's, and you can get these at the Fresh Market along with 2 other flavors, but this is the one where when I'm doing tastings,
I was going to ask you which one. And y'all, just so you know, she walked in here with this bowl.
Yeah, I
she
travel
travels
with my bowl and my stamper.
Most people take their pillow.
I know. Okay, so we're making another well, and then you're just going to add this buttermilk, and this is where I think people get a little intimidated by making biscuits. Because,
and look at this motion with her hands.
Yeah, we're just mixing it all in. But depending on the weather, you might need to add more or less buttermilk. So you kind of have to not be a strict recipe reader and know that it's more about the feel, and you want the dough to be what we call at the bakery wetty. So we have mixers and stampers and placers at the bakery because we are all women at this bakery. You can keep going. I can tell it's dry, so we're going to need a lot.
Okay.
And so that's why we have the backup of the buttermilk.
Okay, so the biscuits are made in stages, and you have people that are responsible for the certain stages of the biscuit making.
We have people that are really good at stamping. We have people that are really good at placing. You have to know how to do everything, but we really work as a team there and go through all of the processes of getting every part of the biscuits made.
You know, it's so interesting because we've seen parallels in my cake business and your biscuit business. There were people that knew how to make the layers, and then the ones that knew how to do the middle of the cake, and then the ones that finish the cake.
Yeah, you got to use everyone's strengths, and you want them to enjoy what they're doing just a little bit more.
Okay.
So this is where I think people go, oh gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to get all this dough out of this bowl and roll it out? This doesn't look like, you know, normal bread dough. So we're going to come on over here with some extra flour.
Okay.
And you got to be okay with your hands being messy. Roll it out very, very liberal with your flour. And then flour on the top here. And I'm just going to take out half. And more flour.
So you really can't get too much.
Once you have that wetty dough, the moisture locked in, you can add the flour to manipulate the dough. And I don't do much more as far as, you know, there's no kneading in biscuits.
Right,
you know, this isn't bread. So you don't even really need a roller, but we'll use
just a little bit.
Yeah, and you can
Okay,
do it.
well, we are going to keep working on this process, and when we come back from the break, we're going to show you the finishing touches on getting these ready for the oven, and then put that party together. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, and we've been really busy, Carrie.
Yeah, we have a party.
I know it. We're having a Halloween party, and we've ended it on such a high note with these biscuits. So while we were doing debate, you got the biscuits finished. Tell us about that.
We stamped them out, placed them on a sheet pan touching so that they bake evenly and rise really high. We buttered them, put them in a 400-degree oven for about 10 minutes, then rotated the pans, and then you have to watch them, but somewhere between 8 and 10 minutes to finish it.
Well, and you know, our Electrolux oven here has a convection bake feature, and so you really recommend using convection bake if you actually have that on your oven.
Love a convection oven.
They came out of the oven golden brown, and oh my gosh, I hope you guys are just, your mouths are watering right now as you look at opening up that biscuit and putting a little pat of butter on it. And if I have biscuit on my mouth, it was because I snuck and got a little bit. But we've set up quite a beautiful party with what we've done. And the Frito pie, I guess the pie part of it is just what you called it growing up. Why change the name even if you're going to serve it in a bowl, right?
Yeah, and you know, you can serve it in a bowl or serve it in, I love the parchment sandwich bags if you're doing a little bit more elevated dinner party.
So the kids can come up, they can fill their bowl with Fritos.
All the accoutrements, just like we have at Hot Little Biscuit, we have accoutrements that you can add to your biscuit.
To your biscuit. Okay, well, speaking of that, where can they go in Charleston to enjoy your biscuits if they're visiting?
We have a Hot Little Biscuit shop at 476.5 King Street, and you can come in and get any of our biscuits hot right out of the oven. And because it's our 10th year in business this year, we are opening up our second Hot Little Biscuit location in Atlanta, in the Virginia Highlands area. So we're super excited.
Congratulations, that is so great. And you know, if you want the recipes, if you want to know more about Carrie, we suggest that you go to her website, which we have up, and you can order her book through there. And if you want a signed copy of it, she'll be happy to do that for you too. As we We forgot the candy.
Oh,
over
yeah, they're
here.
all ready.
Look how cute that looks with the swirls, and any of these little containers that you can pick up, just add to the presentation of it all. And I'm going to keep working on getting my condiments together in here, but I wanted to point out, Bed Bath & Beyond also works with us on the show, and we're going to maybe start doing some gadgets every now and then, but avocado is on the list over here of things, and this is one instrument that will peel it. You can get the pit out, you can slice it all in one little instrument, so they think of everything.
So cool.
So I want to invite you all to learn more about Carrie's business, Callie's business, and also go to Fresh Market and pick up a bag. But like I always say on the show, no matter what you do, do it in good taste. And I have to say that I'm just going to start right here. When it comes to good taste, I'm going to dive into one of these biscuits. But I hope you'll come back again and join me. And for all of you out there, be sure to pick up the biscuits, because you're going to want to do what I'm doing right now. Come back next week.